Welcome to another episode of Colivers Club by Melon. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Agustín from Anceu Coliving. Anceu Coliving is a co-living located in the north of Spain, in Galicia, and is one of the best rural co-livings of the world.
We met Agustín in Anceu when we visited them last year, and the place is located in a really special area in the north of Spain that is all rural in the middle of a forest. And the key about this co-living is that they work really hard into involving with the local community. So they do a lot of different activities with them. They have this rural hacker program where they do different activities like doing English lessons for older inhabitants from this town, but also doing murals together, or they even teach them how to use a laptop and different things so they can be more involved with that. Once, like, this sounds really organized, but when you go there, you can see that it's also really spontaneous. So each of the local people just go to the house and they're like, oh, I bring some eggs, or oh, I did this. It's because they really consider the co-living house part of the village and part of the community. So it's a really special place if you want to connect with others. And it's really interesting to hear Agustín talking about the project and how he managed to create this wonderful community.
Hope you enjoy.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Colivers Club. Here today we have Agustín. He's the founder of Anceu Coliving, located in Galicia, in the north of Spain. In Anceu, they focus in coexisting with the local community, bridging the gap between an international and vibrant community with a more traditional one. Hello, Agustín. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. First, thank you for having me today.
Oh, no worries. I'm also a Spaniard, and I really appreciate Galicia. It's just a beautiful place and a beautiful part of Spain. And you are from there, actually, right?
Yeah, from Galicia originally. I was born in a small town 1 hour away from Anceu. So I'm not native from this village, but yeah, I'm from this region, and yeah, my idea was like opening a co-living in a place in Pontevedra province, which is where we are located. And yeah, finally, it just happened almost 5 years ago, 2020.
Oh, wow. And it's located in a very rural area. And I think it's located in a village that is called Anceu as well, right?
Exactly. I'm not, I'm a software engineer. I'm not very good in naming. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just went for the easy, which is like put the name of the co-living same as the village. And yeah, it's a 98 people village. So it's very rural and small. I say rural with a question mark because even there is like nothing in the village in terms of supermarkets or bars or anything. We're 30 minutes away from Pontevedra city and 45 minutes away from Vigo city, which is like one of the biggest cities in the region. So we are rural but close to a city.
Yeah, and I think being in such a small village, you have quite a lot of impact, right? Because the co-living, how many people can you house at once?
Yeah, the max we've been 25, but yeah, our sweet spot is between 15 and 20 because, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work when you're like hosting 25 people. But yeah, you were mentioning the impact, and it's kind of the end goal of everything that we are doing. And it was the early goal was also that because, as I mentioned before, I'm a software engineer, so my job is actually being a software engineer. Um, the fact that I wanted to open the co-living, it was to revitalize these rural areas that I think it's happening in Galicia in particular, but in most of Europe in general. Like people are going to cities and villages are getting depopulated and disappearing and becoming just a place for spending the weekends. There's like so much knowledge in villages, and it's getting lost because nobody it's actually learning what the grandpas used to know and so on. So yeah, I thought that because of technology, um, this could be changed, like bringing people back to rural areas because things happen in terms of when you if I would be living in Anceu without the co-living, it would be boring in terms of there would be nothing. Just 90% of people are 60 plus. So yeah, I would be maybe feeling a bit weird. But the fact that there is the co-living and now people who's been living in the co-living move to the village And then we organize a lot of things, not just from the co-living, but also from the NGO that we funded. We are creating this kind of environment where actually young people want to come back to rural areas because there's things going on, which is actually what everyone says all the time. Like, don't go to rural areas because nothing is happening there. Just go in the weekends if you have your house, if you wanna, cut the grass or whatever. But as we are doing so many things in terms of arts and residencies and technology, whatever comes to our minds, we try to make it happen, and then things with the people from the village. Because of that, we are creating this atmosphere, this environment where people actually want to come to the rural again.
That's amazing. I mean, thinking about how you take up like almost a quarter of the population, yeah, you can become the mayor if you want. Just go for it, man.
No, it's a lot of people joke with me about that, and that's a no. Because, well, first, Anceu doesn't have a major. That would have to be the town and whatever where nobody knows me because I'm not from here. But also the fact that the independence of being a private initiative, that's perfect because we organize stuff. If people want to come, is good. If people don't want, that's fine. The thing when you are in politics, this is, I know I've never been in politics, but for what I see, is like you do 99% of things good, but this 1%, people are gonna be like saying how bad you are, how you could have done it better, and so on. So yeah, the independence that we have with the NGO and the company and the co-living itself, that's we're in a very good spot because if, as I said before, if we organize something that somebody doesn't like, that's fine. We are not obliging anyone to come.
You expel them, right? And that's it.
Exactly, we kick them out, and that's fine.
you know. You mentioned this NGO. What is an NGO? Can you explain this to the
Yeah,
viewers?
yeah. Well, the NGO is called Rural Hackers. Actually, on that, we are three co-founders. It's like Nacho, Afri, and me. They picked the name. They are good in naming, not me. I think Rural Hack is it's a very good name for what we do. We hack in terms of trying stuff. It's not about stealing money from banks online or whatever. It's trying until we find the solution that we are comfortable with. It's not about perfection. It's sometimes not even about the end goal. It's about the whole process. So with the NGO, what we are running is mostly stuff with technology and art, and sometimes we even mix it together. So, for example, we host Erasmus Plus projects where people from 6 different countries, they come to the co-living. We host them here in the co-living. They stay for 6, 7 to 10 days with a common project. For example, the last one we hosted was last year. It was called Curiositech, which is like curiosity with technology. And in those 10 days, we painted a mural on the village, and then we created 5 websites for NGOs of the area that they cannot afford to have their own website. So with the help of this company called SiteGround, that they are a hosting company, they made that people of the WordPress world came to Anceu to do some lessons about how to create a website in WordPress. So by the end of those, I think this one was 8 days, we created the websites and we painted the mural. So also since last year, we've been running residencies, artist residencies, where people can come to the co-living for free, and in exchange they for a month, and they have to develop an artistic project. We do it pretty wide. Like we've done seen examples. We did an upcycling clothing mural. So for example, Lotte from Belgium, she came, she stayed here, and then with the help of people from the village, it was very beautiful. They brought old clothes of the colors that we told them, like, okay, bring gray, blue, red, and yellow. So they brought old clothes, they cut them, and they kind of created a puzzle that was like a tapestry of the map of the village. It was super nice. Yeah, it was
Wait,
very beautiful.
but who brought the clothes? The people from the village?
Yeah, the villagers. So
Oh
yeah,
man, that's so cool.
a thing that we like to do a lot, as much as possible, which is like putting together people from the co-living and people from the village. We think that we like it like that, because we don't want to become, this island of foreigners that they will live here in a very beautiful spot, because we are in the end of the village. So actually we could live here without seeing anybody else from the village ever. But we think it's so much powerful to put people together. So for example, this residency worked very well, because like 20 people or 30 people from the village came with
Like
Lotte.
half of the population
Exactly.
between
Exactly.
your guys and the.
Exactly. So that worked very well. Then, for example, Mary from Poland, she came also last year. She was doing design of the biodiversity that happens in the area. So she was also meeting with some people that we knew from the village, that they like the forest and they know about the kind of species that are here. She did the designs. But we also did, for example, with Lavinia from Romania, she came, and what she was doing, that was also very beautiful, was like collecting old pictures from people of the village, and we did an exhibition of all pictures of the village, and that worked very well also. So Lavinia was doing it with another lady from the village called Loreto. On there also we put Lavi actually going door by door asking for the pictures, so it was very special. But then we also did things AI and art related. So we brought a Belgium artist and Belgium AI artist, and a Galician artist that he does murals. He paints murals. So we trained an AI on the style of the mural artist. So by the end of
And you stole all the work,
we
and
basically stole all the work. We kept it for ourselves. And by the end of the residency, the artist painted a mural, painted a canvas with a topic, and the AI also did. And then we have both. So the AI, of course, we printed it, and then both artworks are now in the forest in a path that you can walk from the Coliving. So you are walking in a path, and suddenly you have these two artworks there of this residency. And then we've done, as you can see, we do a lot of things also with Victor, which is a guy that came also last year. He actually ended up moving here to Anceu. Now he lives in Anceu, and he was doing English and technology classes for people of the village, because he's an
oh
English
wow, that's
teacher.
amazing.
That worked very well, because also when he did his residency, we started a project called Pegadas do Recordo. That means like memories, no, how to say, like stamps of the memories. So what we are doing is we bring people from the co-living. We put them with people from the village. Most of the forest around the co-living, it used to be farming land, but now it's a forest. So there used to be paths that they are lost now. So we open the paths, we bring the people, the locals tell us a story about what used to be there, whatever story about the place, the path. We record it, and then we signal it with a QR code. So now people can go on those paths, they can read the QR code, and Rogelio, Casiano, or Pepe are telling the story about what used to be there. That works very well. What happened? That Rogelio, Pepe, and Casiano didn't know how to read a QR code. So that's where the resident jumped in, and Victor taught them how to do that, so they can show to their grandkids that they're in YouTube now, right?
Oh
So
man, this must be the coolest grandpas
yeah,
ever, huh?
exactly. So this kind of this project was kick-started during another, yeah, we did a 5-day workshop here with um, different creative spaces from Europe. So we hosted here, 25 people, I think, from 16 different co-workings, co-livings, creative spaces, museums, art residency, kind of spots. We stay here for those days, and we recorded the first videos of this project of the Pegadas do Recordo. So it was very nice. Like people like Ben and Fabian were here, and they are part of this already because they helped us on this, and yeah, it was very special. So those are the kind of things that, thanks to the NGO, we do. So, for example, during last year, all these residencies were kind of pro bono from the Coliving because, the NGO has no money. So Anceu Coliving said, let's bring people who cannot actually afford to be in the Coliving, but they want to give back to the community somehow. So it's kind of this balance that we really like. But now, because of that, there is this French-German institution called Goethe Institute that they are funding the residents for this year. So this year we are bringing 5 residents, and we have the funding for the co-living, and we have the funding for the residents, and we have the funding for all the operations and logistics around that. Because this sounds very lovely when you say, Mary from Poland came and suddenly started to talk with the locals. No, she cannot speak Spanish, and the locals cannot speak English. So somebody from the NGO has to be there and has to, help to accommodate all this situation. Or the same with Lavi was easier because Loreto could speak English. But I don't know, there's like so many logistics around this kind of stuff that now at least we get a bit of funding. So yeah, we're very proud of that. Like all the cool things that we are doing with the locals. First one, I remember the first one that we did. You have to take in account that the co-living opened in 2020. COVID, it wasn't the moment to do anything with the locals. But then late, I think it was late 2021 or 2022, 2022. Yeah, in 2022, talking with locals that people were not that afraid of the virus and so on, we started to mention that it'd be nice to do something in the village. So Rosa, who works in Anceu, she's part of the team. She kind of did us the intro with the locals, and it's like, we thought that it'd be nice to paint a mural in a water deposit. There's a water deposit in the village. We said, okay, let's do it. We paid for everything, like the co-living. We got the paid for the paint, we paid the artist, we paid all of that, and we did a collaborative mural, which was like the artist would paint the lines and say, here goes in red and here goes in yellow, and then everyone could go with a brush and paint. So yeah, it's very. I hadn't seen that before, and it's very nice. So we did that. We did an open call. It's like everyone can come, and that's the kind of things that you don't know if 10 people go or 100 people go. So 150 people came. So not just the whole village.
Wait, where?
The whole village plus people of the surrounding villages. It's like, that's so cool. We go and paint. I remember that we had the big brushes, and we ended up giving them the small ones because if not, they would have finished the whole mural on the first day. There was like a 2-day mural painting, and then we would have like the classical bring your own food, and then we feast together. Amazing. So because of that, we got way closer to people of the local community, and we just continue doing stuff. So now we painted several murals. We organized like this thing we call Entre Culturas, where people from the village bring food and people from the co-living bring food for their own countries, and we share. And people get to know each other through gastronomy, and it's very easy to organize. So yeah, we love to do this kind of stuff. We kickstarted last week actually this thing called a fuchiqueira. Fuchicar in Galician means like tinkering, like playing with the stuff to try to fix it or whatever. So we want to bring for local people things like 3D printing, laser cut, all this kind of stuff, which seems very hard to use and very for the future, but in fact it's not that hard. So with the NGO, we have these machines, we bring them to the social center of the village, and then people come. And we did it last week, and it was like amazing. Like 40 people came. We were laser cutting stuff, 3D printing some other things. Somebody came and it was doing baskets with, this kind of things. I don't know how to say in English. And we already have another prepared for next week. That another for May 11th. People from another creative hub from Spain, from Asturias, is coming here to do biomaterials. So it's very, every month we'd like to do one of those to try stuff out with locals.
And from what you've said, they are quite successful, no? You've mentioned that 20, 40, 150 people come. I wonder what the locals think about this, right? Because they've been probably living there forever, and then suddenly there's like such a spark of activities and cool things to do, and international people and artists. I would love to interview Casiano, Rogelio, and Pepe.
Well, they are the best. They're super happy. I consider myself a lucky person in general, and on that I was also lucky because I got the place and I didn't know how the local situation was. Maybe they were not really up to new people in the village. It's true that I bought this from a German lady who bought this in the 80s. So somehow local people were used to having foreigners somehow. So that's it. When I started to meet the local people, they were like pretty happy that a young person would come here to do something that they didn't really understand what the co-living was. In 2020, it's like, yeah, people with computers are doing stuff there, but that's all they know. But then after, yeah, as I said before, after this COVID situation, when we started to do more stuff with the local community, they are super happy. And actually, sometimes they are even pushing us like, let's do this, let's do that. They are already promoting. For example, with the murals, we kind of promoted 3 of them, and they want to do another one. So what we did is like, okay, this is how it's done. This is the price of the artist. This is where we buy the paint. If you need the brushes, we have them. If not, these are the prices. So now you can organize it yourself. And now they're organizing the 4th one. It's just the villagers doing it, not Anceu or Anceu Coliving or Rural Hackers, which is kind of the end goal. If this happens every year a new initiative is organized, but locals think what can be happening in 10 years, right? Like so many, things happening in a 100 people village, which is, in my opinion, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that actually people are moving to Anceu, no? You talked about this English teacher, and I think it's also super cool for him to give classes, no? To teach classes to the locals.
Yeah. It's super cool. So now he's very into sports also. So he opened kind of a gym on his house, on the house that he rented, and he does like boxing classes and fitness classes. Apart from the English, because English is mostly online, but yeah, also for locals if they want to go, and that's pretty nice. So for now, when new people move to the village, for example, there's this new guy Carlos that he moved last year or early this year, and he's like, wow, this is amazing because I didn't know all of this was happening. But we have some other friends that they used to go to the co-working that Africa has in Pontevedra, that they move also to Anceu, and she's a yoga teacher. So now in the village, you have the boxing and fitness classes, you have the yoga classes also 2 or 3 times a week, and just in 100 people village, which is like, yeah, again, like it's impressive. Plus all the
You're
things that we
missing
organize.
you're missing a barista cafe.
Give us that.
That's just
very nice.
amazing. And yeah, you mentioned that there's a language barrier. Do you think there are any other barriers that need to be overcome?
No, I think language is the only or at least the biggest one. Because as I said before, like people are very eager to do stuff. And I understand, it's not just COVID, it's like before COVID, maybe 5 or 10 years before, also nothing was happening in the village itself. So people are very into thank you for everything that you're organizing, you should organize more stuff. So
yeah, it's like they're missing the tools, maybe not the initiative or not the ideas.
We like to say that we have this group of people, we call it the influencers of the village, which is Helio, Pepe, Casiano, Camilo, exactly, Olga, Rosa, Pedro, which is this group of 10 to 20 people that they always come to wherever we organize because they want to help. I remember Rogelio coming to me is like, I have to go because with everything that you're doing for my village that I was born in Anceu, I have to be there. I have to be part of this. I cannot neglect that you are doing it. So that's kind of the mentality of, I would say, 80% of the village. That as these new people in town are organizing so many things, we have to help because then we cannot complain that nothing is happening in the village. It's kind of of course, there is this 20 or I don't know the numbers, but this 20% that they don't want stuff to be happening. But at least they don't come to me and say that we are bothering them or something. It's like they just don't come to the stuff that we organize, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah,
and it's totally understandable.
Yeah, but out of 100 people that you have 10 to 15 or 20 people that are pro initiatives and they're participating, it's just amazing. This reminds me because I just moved in recently to establish a base in my hometown, and it's part of a program where it's a new building and it's a lot of new people. We all came the same day, and I thought, okay, what if I create a WhatsApp community and I create different channels? No, maybe the first one will be problems with the buildings or things like this, because there has been some, right? But then I started putting, okay, sports channel, board games channel, like animals and stuff like this, and then people suddenly start organizing things, and they are meeting to play paddle, and today we're meeting to play board games, and it's such an organic and nice way of really getting to know your neighbors and forming a community that I don't see any other way going forward. What's the point of living in a big city if you don't know your neighbor? Do you need to really move to the smallest village you can find to really get to know the people you live with? And to me, that doesn't make sense. And maybe we're just missing these ideas of community and sharing and creating things together, because it's just so good.
Yeah, that's where the co-living jumps in, right? Like, I think the co-living fulfills the feeling of belonging for a lot of people. Remote workers, they are 2 weeks here, 1 month there, and they are from nowhere and they don't belong anywhere, right? So this is my opinion. I am not a researcher or anything about it, and that's what I've been seeing here in the co-living. Like, we've had like 500 people, I think, more or less, passing by here. This is kind of one of the common pillars of most of them. It's like, yeah, I was a bit tired of being with 10 days with somebody in a hostel, or going on Airbnb and going to a co-working space for 10 days and then going somewhere else and so on. So the fact of belonging, that's why things like the minimum stays are so important, at least for us. Because, people are different. And some people need 2 days to actually open up, and some people need 20 days to actually open up. And it's fine, because we are all different. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I love it. If we would all need 2 days or 20 days, that would be boring, because everyone would be, scratching the egg at the same time. But this is like, you see the evolution, and that's some stuff that me and Afri, we talk pretty often. Like, we saw the difference now in this person that is now, going for a walk with whoever else that we would not have done it 4 days ago because they were shy. But now they feel more comfortable. This is their house. They understand that this is their home. So now they're doing stuff together. They want to be part of this. So what you do in the community is amazing, because in the city, I always say this, that they have been lying, my opinion again, that they have been lying to us a lot on that. They have been telling us, go to the city because you're going to be with a lot of people. That's not true so many times, because probably not in your building, but when I was living in Madrid, I wouldn't talk with anybody in my building. It's very individualistic. That's what the society have told us. Like, no, go your own, do your stuff, forget about the rest. That's something that in a co-living in particular, or in the village in general, in the village, everyone, if I have a problem, I usually call somebody from the village, like, hey, I need this. For example, we have sheep. And once one of the sheep died, and we have two, and one died, and the other was getting crazy, because they are very, these kind of animals that they have to be with other of their kind. So I call Jose Manuel, this other guy of the village, this neighbor, hey, do you know where I can get a sheep soon? Because my sheep is getting crazy. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll be there in an hour.
And you guys created a Tinder for ships, right? That's what you're telling
Tinder,
me.
Exactly.
A ship Tinder. Okay.
And the guy brought the ship. And he's like, yeah, you can keep it. That's fine. This kind of stuff that in a city doesn't usually happen. You don't call your neighbor down. It's like, hey, I need a TV because, my TV broke. Like, good luck with that. But here, I see this sense of belonging. We are part of the same village. We try to help each other. Maybe it's because it's us and we are doing so many things for the village that people want to say thank you somehow. Or also the fact that we mentioned when we do workshops about creating local impact and so on. We also mentioned that the fact of not being from here, it's good also, because we don't have any past problems with anybody. We have a clean slate or biases. I mentioned this. If I would have opened Anceu Coliving in my hometown, in a village of my hometown, it would have been different towards the local community, because they would know me, they would know my family, they would know my brothers, they would, and for the good and for the bad. On the other hand, here it was like clean slate. We are friends of everyone. We know that there are people in the village that they hate each other. They don't talk to each other. But when we are there and we are organizing something, both sides go, both sides talk, and both sides are friends, at least in front of us. They don't want to be the one creating the problems with us. So that's also the thing, right? Of being part of something. Maybe it happens with you with the WhatsApp community that you are creating. They don't want to show in front of you that they are the person creating the problems. So maybe you kick them out of the WhatsApp, right?
Well, not for now, but that's a good idea, actually. No, yeah, there needs to be some tools to also to manage, because there's a lot of messages. But yeah, that's just another problem for another day. And you are very into art, as you've shown. You work for a company that actually is part of Anceu. Is that so?
Yeah, well, it's not part of Anceu per se, but yeah, I work for this company called 11 Yellow, and we're full remote since we started more than 10 years. We do our own projects. We are not an agency, so we have ideas, we develop them. Usually they fail, and we are high risk, high reward company. So one every 20 or 25 things that we launch, it's a success,
Yeah,
and
but
it's a huge
that's how it
success.
works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was mentioning the art part and your company, because you're also part of another project with art. It's called Boto. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, Boto is AI artist. This is very, I don't like to say usually artist. It's an AI project where there is a model that creates images every week. And then there is a community that acts as the filter of the art quality. Let's put it that way. So we have now around 5,000 people that every week they vote the pieces created by the AI, and the winner gets minted and sold on an NFT market. So far, we've sold, I don't know the numbers by heart, but I think it's like $3 million in art. Weekly sale around 25 to 50K the piece. So it's, even the NFT market is pretty down. We are okay because we are trying to be kind of this piece in between the art traditional world and the digital NFT blockchain kind of art world.
So no memes, right?
No memes. No, we are kind of.
Oh man,
So
that's brilliant. I thought NFTs were just only memes.
Most of them.
Are you sure?
It's interesting that the fact that we have the person developing the model is this guy called Mario Klingerman. He's an AI artist, pretty known in the world, in the art world. We are doing probably by the end of this year Sotheby's solo show, which is that would be the first time that this happens ever, that Sotheby's actually does this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like we're still kind of digesting how big the project is going. And then going back to, this is one of the projects of 11 Yellow. We have like a lot of them. And the thing is that when I came out with the idea of opening the Coliving, like, hey guys, I'm gonna move back to Galicia. I'm gonna open this thing. It's called a Coliving space. So the founders of 11 Yellow, they came to me like, can we be part of this? Because that's also a way to have a home base for a full remote company, which makes sense somehow. And also because I've been in the company since the company started, and it's like a way to help me if I wanted this help, financial help for the start of the co-living. And I told them no, I didn't want them to be part of the company. But we found this deal that 11 Yellow pays to Anceu Coliving a yearly fee, and that allows people from 11 Yellow to come to the co-living for free. So we are a small company. We are just 25 now, no more. So we usually have one person of 11 Yellow in the co-living for the whole season, and then we do a small retreat. For example, last week we had a small retreat, like 11 people from 11 Yellow came here. We spent a week together, and then we'll probably do another one by the end of this year. So it works very well for the company in terms of having a place where everyone meets and nobody has to think about it because I'm the one managing it. So nobody from the company, the HR person of the person preparing the offsites have to take care of it. And it's good for the co-living because when I started, I didn't know how the business was gonna go. So having this fixed income every year, stability would give me like, okay, with this plus 1 month the co-living full, I'm in break even or whatever. And then yeah, it was like the classical win-to-win situation.
That's super nice. I think that's a great idea because I used to be I mean, I used to go to the office, and then suddenly when I started this kind of lifestyle where yeah, I am not full digital nomad, but yeah, I travel from time to time, right? And being part of a company that has this kind of mentality where okay, we're going to offer you the space so you can meet your coworkers and have this feeling of belonging, right? Because when I switched from going to the office to a more remote approach, it feels lonely. Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm in this house, I'm not moving, I'm talking to people maybe through a screen, right? But you're missing so many things, and it's just, it only makes sense to kind of go to co-workings or in this case even better, no, go to co-livings, really, get to know your teammates and form this sense of team, no?
Yeah, that's something that'd be super cool, that uh, companies that are full remote, they would offer that more often, have deals with
it's a
co-living spaces.
it's a
Yeah.
yeah, you create a network of colleagues that yeah, you can go here and you can travel and you can meet your teammates from different countries, and yeah, it's just so cool. It brings, I think, so many ideas and yeah, it's just so good. And I wanted to ask you, yeah, we talked about co-livings and what it means to the local people, what it means to a rural area. But what does co-living mean to you?
Huh. That's community. It's like, yeah, being with people. Historically, even before the co-living, my house used to be the house of everyone. There would be like a lot of people, big parties, hosting people, couch surfing, whatever. There would be people all the time in my house or the house that I've been living with. Because I love community. I think it's one of the most powerful things that the humans have. You know, how we can help each other, how we can learn from each other, how we can get inspired from each other. But for that, you need a group of people that want to be part of this group of people. Because sometimes, maybe you are when we were kids, we were studying, we were in a group, in a classroom, with a group in a school, in a group of people, but maybe some of those people didn't want to be there. But in terms of things like a community, that's why community in a co-living is like, people really want to be there. People are paying to be part of that. And that's how, yeah, I think that's the most powerful thing. This is what it is for me. It's community. And it's like, I know that everyone is like saying community is the most important, but I don't know. I find it so powerful. And even without me, that's one thing that I love. I was just today or 2 days ago talking with a friend. Like, I really love when new communities are created in Anceu, but then they evolve and they are somewhere else, but they are still a community. For example, there's a lot of people in Pontevedra now. There are like 3 people from the co-living that moved to Pontevedra, plus the 2 people from the co-living that moved to Anceu, plus people from the co-working of Afri in Pontevedra. And they meet each other, they go together to parties or whatever. But we put the spark there. And I love that. That's like, okay, that doesn't mean that this community have to be Anceu co-living community all the time. It's like a new community is created, and I'm so proud of that somehow. I shouldn't, because I didn't do anything. I just created a space, and people just got friends of each other, and suddenly they're a group of friends that they are together now. So, but yeah, I don't know. I find it amazing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Oh, you mentioned this co-working from Afri in Pontevedra. What's the
Yeah,
name so people can search for it?
Arroelo.
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 Okay, we can put a link in the description.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Agustin, that has been an enormous pleasure. Such interesting things we talked about, and yeah, I cannot wait to do El Camino de Santiago, which passes nearby Alfeu, and yeah, and visit this co-living once and for all.
So we'll be super happy to host you.
Okay, thank you very much and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.